All right, so welcome everyone to our deep dive. And today we're exploring this really intriguing idea,
Mm-hmm.
which is how changing your habits
Mm.
can actually lead to like a full-blown life transformation.
Yeah.
We're basing this deep dive on Marc Reklau's book,
Okay.
30 Days, Change Your Habits, Change Your Life.
I see.
And
Yeah.
it's really cool how Reklau blends, structured guidance
Mm-hmm.
with all these like exercises that are designed to kind of help you unlock
Sure.
happiness and success in your life.
You know what I found really compelling about Klau's work
Yeah.
is that he actually addresses that skepticism head on. You know, that a lot of people feel
Yeah.
toward self-improvement stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
you can feel
yeah, there's that pep talk vibe.
Yeah.
But then he goes beyond that and he supports his claims with like solid research.
Yeah.
Showing how our thoughts and beliefs actually have a tangible impact on our reality.
Oh, absolutely. Like he's not just, peddling
Right.
feel-good fluff.
Exactly.
There's real science behind it.
Yeah.
And I think a perfect example of that is the placebo effect,
For sure.
where medical studies have actually shown
Yeah.
that our beliefs
Mm-hmm.
can trigger like real physical changes in our bodies.
It's incredible, isn't it? It just shows that mind-body connection in such a clear way.
Yeah,
And it's not just limited to the placebo effect either.
right.
You know, things like self-fulfilling prophecies and the Pygmalion effect also really highlight
Yeah.
how our expectations can shape outcomes. And Reklau does such a brilliant job
Yeah.
of weaving these scientific insights into his whole approach.
Absolutely. And, right off the bat, he kicks off with this super compelling idea.
Okay.
He calls it rewriting your story.
Interesting.
And it's kind of like we all have this narrative
Mm-hmm.
that's constantly playing in our heads, right?
Yeah.
But Reklau is saying we actually have the power to change that script, to rewrite the narrative.
I like that.
Yeah, and he uses this fantastic analogy
Okay.
comparing personal transformation
Mm-hmm.
to FC Barcelona's incredible turnaround
Oh, wow.
under Pep Guardiola
Yes, Guardiola.
as their coach.
I mean, his leadership completely revitalized the team.
Totally.
I mean, through just sheer dedication and effort.
Mhm.
He steered them to a level of success that they hadn't even seen before.
Exactly.
It really speaks volumes about the importance of persistence,
Uh-huh.
which is a theme that Reklau carries throughout the entire book.
Yeah, and he even like directly quotes Zig Ziglar
Really?
in the book,
Okay.
emphasizing that, character commitment and discipline,
Right.
they're like the cornerstones
The foundation.
to any achievement,
Mm-hmm. I love how he connects sports to like personal growth.
Yeah.
It's not something you'd immediately think of, but
But it makes sense
it really does.
because like to succeed, whether it's, on the field or in life,
yeah,
we need that drive, or
absolutely.
that internal push to keep going.
It's essential.
And
right.
Reklau doesn't just stop there. He goes on to this crucial idea of taking responsibility,
Interesting.
which is all about shifting away from that victim mentality.
Right, right.
So he's really urging us to own our outcomes instead of, playing the blame game.
Oh, I see.
And this is where Reklau's choice to use Viktor Frankl as an example becomes incredibly powerful.
Ah, Frank.
So
yeah.
for those who may not be familiar,
Yeah.
Frankl endured the horrors of the Holocaust.
Right.
And amidst that unimaginable suffering,
Oh, I can't even imagine.
he discovered what he called the ultimate human freedom,
Wow.
which was the ability to choose our response in any circumstance, no matter how dire or difficult.
That's profound.
It really is. It's a
Yeah.
testament to like
Yeah,
the power of the human spirit to transcend even the most horrific situations.
absolutely.
To find that freedom in a concentration camp,
Yeah.
it is just extraordinary.
It really makes you think
It does.
about our own lives and
Yeah. Have you ever found yourself
yeah.
like blaming others for a situation and then later realize that like
Oh, yeah.
taking responsibility could have actually led to a different outcome?
It's so easy to fall into that trap of blame, isn't it?
It is.
But embracing responsibility,
Yeah.
that's what empowers us to really shape our destiny.
It's true.
And that leads so perfectly into Reklau's next point,
Okay.
which is this immense power of our thoughts and beliefs.
Yeah.
He reminds us that thoughts, they aren't just these like fleeting things, they literally create our reality.
He's saying like we're projecting our beliefs
Exactly.
onto the world
Yeah.
and the world is mirroring them back to us.
It's like a feedback loop
Yeah.
between our inner world and the outer world.
Exactly. And he really challenges us to examine those beliefs.
Hmm.
He's like, are they serving us?
Yeah.
Or are they holding us back?
It's a great question.
It is.
We asked ourselves.
Yeah, and he provides like some really solid evidence
Okay.
to back this up.
Uh-huh.
He cites things like the placebo effect that we talked about earlier, the Pygmalion effect,
Right.
self-fulfilling prophecies.
It's almost like our brains are programmed
Yeah.
to validate our beliefs, whether they're positive or negative.
Yeah, so it becomes crucial then
Absolutely.
to cultivate positive and empowering beliefs
Right.
to shape that reality that we truly want.
You know, when you think about it, it's a bit daunting,
It is.
the weight that our beliefs carry,
Yeah.
but it's also incredibly empowering. It's like if we can really harness that power of belief, imagine the possibilities.
It's limitless.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the more like practical aspect of Reklau's work,
Okay.
which is the formation of new habits.
Mhm.
You know, he talks about this 21-30-day rule,
Okay.
which suggests that consistent repetition over that time frame can solidify a new habit.
So it's like building that neural pathway
Exactly.
through repetition.
It's a concept that's rooted in science.
Mm-hmm.
But Reklau interestingly links it back to Aristotle,
Oh, really?
who wisely observed that changing habits is the key to changing one's life.
Wow.
I love that how this ancient wisdom finds validation
Yeah.
in modern research.
It's fascinating.
It really is.
So, what about those bad habits?
Oh, yeah.
What are some of the ones that Reklau encourages us to address?
Well, he highlights some pretty common culprits,
Okay.
like procrastination,
Oh, yeah.
poor eating habits,
Mm-hmm.
and excessive reliance on technology.
I think we've all struggled with at least one of those.
I know I have.
It's
But imagine the positive ripple effects.
right.
If we could replace those
Uh-huh.
with healthier alternatives.
Yeah.
You know, I'm curious for listeners, if they were to pick one habit they'd like to change,
Hmm.
what kind of positive impact do they envision it having on their lives?
That's a great prompt for some introspection. It's all about making those small, consistent changes that over time create that significant transformation.
Absolutely. And speaking of alignment,
Mm-hmm.
Reklau goes on to emphasize the importance of synchronizing our goals with our personal values. Our values, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
He argues that when our actions and values are in harmony,
Mm-hmm.
we experience greater success
Oh, for sure.
and a much deeper sense of fulfillment.
Yeah, like if you're genuinely passionate about something,
Yeah.
you're more likely to stick with it and see it through.
Makes total sense. And he introduces this
Okay.
really interesting concept called tolerations.
Tolerations.
Yes.
What are those?
So these are basically things we put up with
Mm-hmm.
that subtly drain our energy
I see.
and introduce like this negativity into our lives.
So it's not like major problems necessarily?
No, they might seem insignificant
Yeah.
on their own,
Right.
but collectively, they create this drag on our well-being.
Okay. I'm starting to see the picture.
Yeah, like a perpetually cluttered desk,
Right, yeah.
unfinished tasks
Mhm.
that just linger in the back of our minds,
I know that feeling.
or even relationships that have
Mhm.
become more draining than nourishing.
Right.
We often brush these things aside,
Yeah, we do.
but they accumulate,
They do.
creating this undercurrent of stress.
It's insidious, isn't it?
It is.
So what does Reklau suggest we do about these tolerations?
Well, he challenges us to first identify our core values
okay.
and then honestly assess if our current actions
Right.
are actually aligned with them.
Powerful.
It's a powerful exercise in self-awareness,
It is.
you know, prompting us to really consider
Yeah.
whether we're living in congruence with what truly matters to us.
So it's like a check-in
Yeah.
to see if we're on the right track.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder
Mm-hmm.
if you're consistently feeling drained or unfulfilled.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's time to reevaluate those values
Right.
and make sure your actions are truly in sync.
Makes sense.
So from there, Reklau shifts the focus to our strengths,
Okay.
encouraging us to leverage them
Hmm.
and overcome that fear of failure
A fear of failure, right.
that so many of us struggle with.
It can be crippling.
It can. And
Yeah.
he brings up Thomas Edison.
Who famously said, I have not failed.
Uh-huh.
I've just found 10,000 ways it won't work.
I love that quote.
It's brilliant, right?
It's
It's about adopting that mindset of experimentation,
Mhm.
seeing setbacks as valuable data points
Right.
rather than defeats,
Not giving up,
not giving up.
but learning from those experiences.
Exactly. So instead of, fixating on weaknesses or fearing mistakes,
Yeah.
we can harness our unique abilities and view setbacks as opportunities for growth and learning.
He calls it the Edison mentality.
Right.
Approaching those challenges with resilience and extracting wisdom from every experience.
It's a beautiful way to look at it.
It is.
And alongside that, he also touches on the importance of setting clear goals.
Setting goals.
And crucially, writing them down.
Writing them down. Okay.
He actually quotes Brian Tracy here.
Oh, does he?
Who emphasizes that tangible power of written goals.
Okay.
Saying they crystallize our aspirations and create a roadmap for action.
Yeah, so it's like taking that vague wish
Yes.
and turning it into a concrete plan.
Exactly.
That's a great way to put it.
And it makes you think what resonates more with people's experiences, focusing on those strengths, and embracing failure.
Yeah.
Or the more traditional approach of minimizing weaknesses and striving for that perfect outcome.
That's a fascinating question.
It is.
You know, maybe it's not about choosing one over the other.
Right.
But finding that balance between recognizing areas for improvement while simultaneously leveraging our strengths.
It's about that integration.
Exactly. And all of this requires effective management of our time and energy.
Of course.
Which brings us to Reklau's next point.
Cool.
He actually offers some excellent advice
Does he?
for maximizing our time.
Oh, great.
Things like prioritizing tasks, creating realistic schedules, and minimizing those pesky distractions.
Distractions, oh my gosh.
That can really derail our focus.
They're everywhere.
They are.
So it's about becoming the architect of our day.
I like that.
Making conscious choices about how we invest our time.
Our most precious resource.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he really singles out procrastination as a major time thief.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it steals our time.
It does.
Leaves us feeling overwhelmed.
And often guilty.
Guilty, yes.
Sure.
But luckily, Reklau provides some insightful techniques for tackling it.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, so he suggests breaking down those daunting tasks into smaller, more manageable steps.
Okay.
Setting firm deadlines to create a sense of urgency.
I see.
And focusing on those positive outcomes of completing a task.
Oh.
Rather than dwelling on the negative aspects of procrastination.
So it's like shifting our mindset from avoidance to achievement.
Exactly. Motivating ourselves with those rewards of accomplishment rather than that fear of failure.
I like that approach.
Yeah.
It's powerful. And it's amazing how deeply our thoughts and beliefs influence our actions in everything we do.
Absolutely. And Reklau really dives into that.
He does.
In this next part.
Okay.
He talks about the power of language, highlighting how it shapes our reality, not just in how we communicate with others, but also in that internal dialogue we often have with ourselves.
Our self-talk.
Exactly.
And he cautions against negative self-talk.
Oh, yeah.
Emphasizing that those stories we repeat to ourselves, they become our reality.
If we're constantly telling ourselves we're not good enough,
not smart enough,
not capable enough,
guess what?
We start to believe it.
We start to believe it.
It's so true.
It really is.
And so he encourages us to be mindful of the language we use, both internally and externally.
Yeah.
Choosing words that empower and uplift us.
It's like mental hygiene.
It is.
Cleansing our minds of those limiting beliefs and negative thought patterns.
It's so important.
It is.
And he even proposes this simple but really powerful linguistic shift.
Okay. What is it?
Replacing the word try.
Try.
With more definitive language.
Okay.
Like I will or I am.
Interesting.
It's about cultivating that sense of certainty and commitment. Moving from a tentative mindset to one of action and empowerment.
It's like we're reprogramming our minds with the words we choose.
That's a great way to put it.
And speaking of reprogramming, Reklau introduces this concept of affirmations.
Affirmations, okay.
Which is a technique for reinforcing those positive beliefs and attracting desired outcomes.
Okay.
He suggests repeating affirmations regularly.
Okay.
Even if we don't fully believe them at first.
Yeah.
To gradually rewire our subconscious mind.
I see.
He gives examples of affirmations for attracting wealth and success and happiness.
Oh, wow.
But the real power, I think, lies in crafting affirmations that resonate with our personal goals.
With what we really want.
Yeah, and aspirations.
It's about consciously planting those seeds of positive belief in our minds.
Yeah.
And nurturing them until they take root and blossom.
Beautiful imagery.
And while we're nurturing those positive beliefs,
right,
Reklau also emphasizes the importance letting go of the past
The past.
and embracing forgiveness.
Forgiveness, okay.
He argues that clinging to past hurts and regrets
Mm-hmm.
really drains our energy,
Yeah.
prevents us from moving forward.
Like we're carrying around baggage.
It's like carrying around a heavy weight.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That hinders our progress.
So he encourages us to practice forgiveness,
Mm-hmm.
both towards ourselves
Right.
and others,
Yeah.
to release that burden of past grievances
Okay.
and create space for those new possibilities.
I like that.
And he even suggests specific exercises
Oh, does he?
to facilitate this process,
Uh-huh.
like writing letters,
Oh, okay.
those we need to forgive,
Interesting.
even if we never actually send them.
Oh,
It's about finding closure
yeah.
and liberation from the past.
That's profound.
It is.
It's a process of emotional healing,
It really is.
allowing us to break free from those shackles
Yeah.
of past experiences
Hmm.
and fully embrace the present moment.
And speaking of the present moment,
Okay.
Reklau stresses the importance of celebrating our wins,
Celebrating our wins.
both big and small,
Uh-huh.
and savoring the journey.
Savoring the journey. Okay.
He encourages us to acknowledge our progress,
Yeah.
reward ourselves for our efforts,
Mm-hmm.
and cultivate an attitude of gratitude.
Gratitude is so important
It is.
to focus on what we have.
It really is.
Yeah.
And he even recommends keeping a success journal
A success journal.
to document our accomplishments
Okay.
and track our growth over time.
So it's creating a tangible record
Yes.
of our journey.
Of how far we've come.
Yeah. And recognizing those positive changes.
It's powerful.
It is.
It can boost our self-esteem
Yeah.
and reinforce that positive momentum.
I love that.
It's a celebration
Yeah.
of our journey
It is.
and a reminder to keep moving forward,
That's a great point.
along with celebrating our wins.
Okay.
Reklau highlights the importance of
Mhm.
embracing simplicity
Simplicity.
and decluttering our lives.
Declaring.
He argues that an excess of possessions,
Mm-hmm.
commitments,
Yeah.
and mental clutter
Mental clutter. Oh, yeah.
can really drain our energy and hinder our progress.
It's like weighing us down.
It is.
Preventing us from moving freely.
So he's talking about creating this sense of spaciousness and clarity,
Okay.
both physically and mentally.
I can see that.
Yeah. So he suggests streamlining our belongings, our
Mhm.
commitments,
Mhm.
and even our thoughts,
Streamlining our thoughts.
creating a more peaceful
Wow.
and harmonious environment
Okay.
to support our growth and well-being.
I like that.
And he offers some practical tips for this decluttering process,
Oh, good.
like setting aside dedicated time for organizing and purging unnecessary items,
Okay.
simplifying our schedules,
Mm-hmm.
and learning to say no.
No, that's a tough one.
It is.
There are a lot of people.
It is, but it's so important.
It is.
And, it's fascinating how much lighter we feel
Yeah,
when we let go of things that no longer serve us,
absolutely.
whether it's physical clutter
Yeah.
or, those commitments that are draining our energy.
It's liberating.
It really is.
So speaking of letting go,
Yeah.
Reklau also emphasizes the power of saying no.
Wow.
Not just to physical clutter,
Right.
but also to those requests
Yeah.
and commitments that drain our time and energy.
He makes this really wise point
What's that?
that saying no to others
Yeah.
is often a way of saying yes
Oh, I see.
to ourselves
To our own priorities.
and to our priorities.
That's a great way to look at it.
It's about setting those healthy boundaries,
Right.
respecting our time and energy,
Mhm.
and making choices that genuinely support our well-being and fulfillment.
It's about recognizing that we can't please everyone
Right.
and that prioritizing our own needs, it's not selfish.
It's not selfish.
It's essential.
It's essential for our well-being.
Yeah.
And then Reklau offers this intriguing suggestion,
Okay, what's that?
getting up early
Getting up early.
and maximizing those morning hours.
Interesting.
He argues that the early morning hours
Uh-huh.
offer this unique sense of peace and tranquility,
Mm-hmm.
which makes them ideal for
Right.
setting intentions for the day,
Uh-huh.
engaging in activities that nourish our mind and body,
Okay.
and working on projects without distractions.
I can see that.
He even suggests exploring the possibility of
Of what?
sleeping less
Sleeping less.
to create more time for these activities.
Wow, that's bold.
It is.
So less sleep, more productivity.
Yeah, he cites research
Okay.
suggesting that 6 hours of sleep per night
6 hours.
combined with a midday power nap
Okay.
can actually be sufficient for optimal functioning.
It's a thought-provoking proposition.
It is.
Especially in our always-on culture,
Yeah.
where busyness is almost like a badge of honor.
It's true, but I think what he's really getting at
Yeah.
is the importance of finding what works best for each individual
Right.
and creating a morning routine that sets us up for success,
Absolutely.
whatever that looks like for each person.
Yeah.
And he also cautions against starting the day
Against what?
with a barrage of negative news
Oh, yeah.
and media.
That can be so draining.
It can? First thing in the morning?
He argues that those sources can just like drain our energy and create unnecessary stress.
Makes sense.
So he suggests being mindful of the information we consume
Okay.
and prioritizing uplifting and inspiring content
Right.
to start our day on a positive note.
So it's about creating a more empowering environment,
Exactly.
both internally and externally.
Yes.
It's like setting the tone
Yeah.
for the whole day,
For the whole day.
choosing positivity over negativity.
Exactly. And that leads to this next point about
Our internal environment.
our inner world.
He emphasizes the importance of accepting our emotions and learning to manage them effectively.
Emotions can be tricky.
They can be, but he reminds us that emotions are natural
Right.
and a valid part of the human experience.
They are.
But we don't have to be ruled by them.
So we don't have to let them control us.
Right. We have a choice.
Yeah.
So he suggests observing our emotions without judgment,
Okay.
allowing them to pass through us,
Like waves.
like waves,
Yeah.
without being overwhelmed by their intensity.
That's easier said than done sometimes.
It can be.
But it's a worthy goal
It
to
is.
strive for.
It's about developing a sense of detachment from our emotions,
Yeah.
recognizing that they're fleeting. They are define who we are.
It's a powerful realization.
It is to come to.
And he also encourages finding healthy ways to express our emotions.
Okay. Like what?
So things like journaling,
Journaling, yeah.
talking to a trusted friend.
Engaging in activities that release that emotional tension.
Like exercise.
Like exercise.
Creative pursuits.
Yes, creative pursuits are great.
Anything that helps us move through those emotions.
Exactly. It's about developing that emotional intelligence and cultivating a sense of inner peace and resilience.
So important in today's world.
It is.
Full of stressors.
It's about recognizing that we have that power to choose how we respond to our emotions.
We do.
And manage them constructively.
Well, it's empowering.
It is. And speaking of taking care of ourselves,
Okay.
Reklau also advocates for prioritizing physical health
Physical health.
and treating our bodies with kindness.
So it's not just about our minds.
No, it's holistic.
It's about the whole package.
It is.
Mind, body, spirit.
He promotes regular exercise,
A
balanced diet, and sufficient rest
Okay, the basics.
as the essentials
Yeah.
for supporting both our physical and mental well-being.
I mean, it's not groundbreaking.
No,
But it's so important.
but it's foundational.
It is.
He suggests finding activities we genuinely enjoy and incorporating them into our routines.
So it's not a chore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Make exercise something that we look forward to,
Right.
not dread.
Sustainable over time.
Exactly. And he also talks about mindful eating,
Mindful eating.
paying attention to our body's signals,
Oh, interesting.
savoring each bite,
Okay.
choosing foods that truly nourish us,
Right.
not just fill us up.
So it's about being present with our food
Yes,
and really appreciating it.
exactly.
I like that.
It's about treating our bodies with respect and recognizing that our physical health
Right.
is intrinsically linked to our mental and emotional well-being.
Because it creates this holistic approach to self-care, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Nurturing all aspects of ourselves.
And from there,
Okay.
Reklau takes us deeper into how to actually maintain that momentum
Okay.
as we embark on this journey of change. And he dedicates an entire chapter to avoiding energy robbers.
Energy robbers.
Yeah. Just
Interesting.
those sneaky things that just zap our enthusiasm and derail our progress.
So it's like he's giving us tools
Exactly.
to defend ourselves.
Against those motivation vampires.
Love that analogy.
And he points out
Yeah.
that these energy robbers can take many forms.
Okay, so what are some examples?
Well, unhealthy habits,
Okay.
like relying on excessive caffeine or alcohol,
Mm-hmm.
can leave us feeling drained instead of energized.
Right, like a quick fix that
Yeah.
ultimately backfires.
Exactly.
And what else?
He also cautions against spending too much time with energy vampires,
Energy vampires?
people
Oh, people.
who
Yeah.
leave us feeling depleted
Interesting.
and discouraged
Oh,
after every interaction.
so it's like, it's different from those tolerations we talked about.
It is.
Where it's just things we put up with.
Right.
This is about people who actively drain us.
Exactly. And it's a subtle but really important distinction.
Yes.
You know, it's about recognizing those relationships that uplift and inspire us.
Versus the ones that deplete us.
Exactly.
Got it.
And alongside safeguarding our energy,
Right.
Reklau stresses the importance of managing our time wisely.
Time management classic.
But so crucial.
It is.
And he offers some really practical advice.
Okay, what's he suggest?
Things like setting clear priorities.
Okay.
Crafting realistic schedules.
Mm-hmm.
And identifying those pesky distractions. That just derail our focus.
I know those all too well.
They're everywhere.
It's about becoming the architect of our day.
Exactly.
We're making conscious choices about how we spend our time.
Our most precious resource.
Absolutely.
And he calls out procrastination.
Procrastination, the thief of time.
As a major culprit.
Makes sense.
It steals our time.
It does.
Leaves us feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But Reklau offers some really insightful techniques for tackling it.
Okay, good. Because we all need help with that.
We do.
So what are some of his strategies?
Well, he suggests breaking down those daunting tasks into smaller, more manageable steps.
Smaller chunks.
Exactly, bite-sized pieces.
Yeah.
He also says setting firm deadlines.
Deadlines, okay.
To create that sense of urgency.
I see.
And focusing on the positive outcomes of completing a task.
So shifting the focus.
Rather than dwelling on the negative aspects of procrastination.
Right. It's like a mindset shift.
Yeah, from avoidance to achievement.
Motivating ourselves with the rewards.
Exactly.
Rather than the fear.
And it's fascinating how much our thoughts and beliefs influence our actions in this whole process.
They really do.
And Reklau dives deep into that connection.
Okay.
In the next section.
What's he talk about?
He talks about the power of language.
Language.
Yeah, and how it shapes our reality.
So not just how we talk to others.
No, not just that.
But how we talk to ourselves.
Exactly, our self-talk.
Right, that inner voice.
And he cautions against negative self-talk.
Oh yeah, that can be so damaging.
It can.
If we're constantly putting ourselves down.
Emphasizing that those stories we repeat to ourselves become our reality.
It's like we're programming our minds.
If we keep telling ourselves we're not good enough.
Yeah. Not smart enough.
Not capable enough.
We'll start to believe it.
We will.
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
It is.
So what's the antidote to that?
Well, Reklau encourages us to become mindful of the language we use.
Both internally and externally.
Exactly. Choosing words that empower and uplift us.
Okay, so it's like cleaning up our language.
Like mental hygiene.
Yeah.
Cleansing our minds of those limiting beliefs.
And those negative thought patterns that can hold us back.
And he even proposes this simple but powerful shift.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Replacing the word try.
Try, okay.
With more definitive language.
Like what?
Like I will or I.
I will, I am.
It's about cultivating a sense of certainty and commitment.
Oh.
Moving from that tentative mindset to one of action and empowerment.
So it's not, I'll try to work out tomorrow. It's, I will work out tomorrow.
Exactly.
I like that.
It's a subtle shift.
It is.
But it can make a big difference.
And you know, it's like we're reprogramming our minds with the words we choose.
Powerful stuff.
It is. And speaking of reprogramming, Reklau introduces this concept of affirmations.
Affirmations.
Yeah.
I've heard of those.
So have I, but it's always good to get a refresher.
It is.
So what does Reklau say about them?
Well, he describes them as a technique for reinforcing those positive beliefs.
Okay.
And attracting desired outcomes.
Okay.
So he suggests repeating affirmations regularly.
Regularly?
Even if we don't fully believe them at first.
Even if we don't believe them?
Yeah, the idea is to kind of rewire that subconscious mind.
Through repetition?
Exactly.
Okay, I can see how that would work.
And he provides examples of affirmations for attracting wealth and success and happiness.
So there are like pre-made ones.
There are.
But the real power is in crafting our own.
Yes, tailoring them to our specific goals and aspirations.
It's about planting those seeds
of positive belief
in our mind
and nurturing them
until they take root and blossom.
I love that imagery.
And while we're nurturing those positive beliefs, Reklau also talks about the importance of letting go of the past.
Letting go.
And embracing forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
It's a powerful concept.
It is.
And often a challenging one.
So how does Reklau approach it?
Well, he argues that clinging to past hurts and regrets drains our energy.
It does.
Prevents us from moving forward.
Like we're carrying around all that baggage.
Exactly.
Weighing us down.
So he encourages us to practice forgiveness.
Forgiveness towards ourselves and others.
Both are important.
They are.
To release that burden.
And create space for new possibilities.
I like that, creating space.
And he even suggests specific exercises.
Oh, really? Like what?
Like writing letters to those we need to forgive.
Letters, even if we don't send them.
Even if we don't send them.
That's interesting.
It's about finding closure and liberation from the past.
It's a powerful process.
It is.
Of emotional healing.
It really is.
Allowing us to break free from those shackles of past experiences.
And fully embrace the present moment.
The present moment, that's where the magic happens.
Exactly. And speaking of the present moment,
okay.
Reklau also stresses the importance of celebrating our wins.
Celebrating our wins.
Both big and small.
Acknowledging our accomplishments.
And savoring the journey.
So it's not just about the destination.
No, it's about enjoying the ride.
I like that.
And he encourages us to acknowledge our progress, reward ourselves for our effort, and cultivate that attitude of gratitude.
Gratitude's such a powerful force for shifting our perspective.
It really is. And he even recommends keeping a success journal.
A success journal? Interesting.
To document our accomplishments.
Okay.
And track our growth over time.
So it's like a tangible record.
It is.
Of our journey.
Of how far we've come.
Yeah, and recognizing those positive changes. Exactly.
It can boost our self-esteem.
It can.
And reinforce that positive momentum.
It's a celebration.
It is.
Of our journey.
And a reminder to keep moving forward.
Exactly.
I like that a lot.
Along with celebrating those wins, Reklau highlights the importance of embracing simplicity. And decluttering our lives.
Decluttering, okay.
He argues that an excess of possessions, commitments, and mental clutter.
Oh, mental clutter, that's a big one.
Can drain our energy and hinder our progress.
It's like we're weighed down.
Exactly.
By all that stuff.
So he suggests streamlining our belongings, our commitments, and even our thoughts.
Streamlining our thoughts. That's interesting.
Creating a more peaceful and harmonious environment.
I like that.
To support our growth and well-being.
It makes sense.
And he offers practical tips for decluttering.
Oh, good. Like what?
Setting aside dedicated time for organizing and purging unnecessary items.
Purging, okay. Getting rid of stuff, simplifying our schedules, and learning to say no.
No, the power of no.
It's so important.
It is.
But often so difficult.
It can be.
And it's amazing how much lighter we feel.
Yeah.
When we let go of those things that no longer serve us.
Absolutely. It's liberating.
It is.
So speaking of letting go, Reklau also emphasizes the power of saying no.
No to requests and commitments.
That drain our time and energy.
Exactly. And he makes this really wise point.
What's that?
That saying no to others is often a way of saying yes.
Oh, I see.
To ourselves.
To our own priorities.
And to our priorities.
I love that perspective.
It's about setting those healthy boundaries.
Right.
Respecting our time and energy. And making choices that genuinely support our well-being and fulfillment.
So it's not selfish.
It's not selfish.
It's self-care.
Exactly.
And then Reklau throws out this interesting suggestion.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Getting up early.
Getting up early.
The early bird gets the worm. So what's his reasoning behind that?
Well, he argues that the early morning hours offer this unique sense of peace and tranquility.
I can see that.
Less distractions.
Right. The world's still asleep.
Exactly. And he says it's an ideal time for setting intentions for the day, engaging in activities that nourish our mind and body.
Like exercise or meditation.
Exactly.
Or journaling.
And for working on projects. Without distractions.
I can see how that would be beneficial.
He even suggests exploring the possibility of sleeping less.
Sleeping less?
To create more time for these activities.
It's a bold suggestion.
It is, but he cites research. Suggesting that 6 hours of sleep per night.
6 hours,
combined with a midday power nap.
A power nap?
Can be sufficient for optimal functioning.
I'm not sure I could do that.
It's definitely not for everyone.
But I appreciate the idea.
It's about finding what works best for you.
Right.
And creating a morning routine that sets you up for success.
Whatever that looks like.
Exactly. And he also cautions against starting the day.
Okay. Against what?
With a barrage of negative news and media.
Oh, yeah. I've heard that before.
It can be so draining.
It can.
And create unnecessary stress.
Especially first thing in the morning?
He suggests being mindful of the information we consume. And prioritizing uplifting and inspiring content to start our day on a positive note.
It's like setting the tone for the whole day.
It is choosing positivity over negativity.
And speaking of our internal environment, Reklau emphasizes the importance of accepting our emotions.
Our emotions?
And learning to manage them effectively.
Emotions can be tricky.
They can.
But they're a natural part of the human experience.
They are.
And Reklau reminds us that we don't have to be ruled by them.
So we don't have to let them control us.
Exactly. We have a choice.
Okay, so how do we manage them effectively?
Well, he suggests observing our emotions without judgment.
Without judgment.
Allowing them to pass through us.
Like waves.
Like waves.
Yeah.
Without being overwhelmed by their intensity.
That's easier said than done.
It can be.
But it's a skill worth developing.
It is.
So it's about detaching from our emotions.
Yes. Recognizing that they're fleeting and they don't define who we are.
That's a powerful realization.
It is.
And he also talks about expressing our emotions in healthy ways.
Yes. Finding those outlets.
So what are some examples?
Journaling.
Journaling, okay.
Talking to a trusted friend. Engaging in activities that release that emotional tension.
Like exercise.
Exercise.
Creative pursuits.
Creative pursuits are great.
Yeah, anything that helps us move through those emotions
Exactly.
in a healthy way.
And it's about developing that emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
And cultivating a sense of inner peace and resilience.
So important in today's world.
It is.
Which is full of stressors.
It's about recognizing that we have the power to choose how we respond to our emotions.
We do.
And manage them constructively.
And that leads us to this next point about taking care of ourselves physically.
Taking care of our bodies.
Reklau advocates for prioritizing physical health.
Our physical health.
And treating our bodies with kindness.
So it's not just about our minds.
Right. It's holistic.
It's about the whole package.
Mind, body, spirit.
He promotes regular exercise.
Exercise.
A balanced diet. And sufficient rest.
Okay. The base.
As the essentials.
Yeah.
For supporting both our physical and mental well-being.
It's not groundbreaking advice.
No.
But it's so important.
But it's foundational.
It is.
And he encourages us to find activities we genuinely enjoy and incorporate them into our routine.
So it's not a chore.
Exactly.
Man.
Make exercise something we look forward to.
Right.
Not dread of.
Sustainable over time.
Exactly.
Look at that.
And he also talks about mindful eating.
Mindful eating.
Paying attention to our body's signals.
Oh, interesting.
Savoring each bite.
Okay.
Choosing foods that truly nourish us.
Right.
Not just fill us up.
So it's about being present with our food. Yes.
And really appreciating it.
Exactly. It's about treating our bodies with respect and recognizing that our physical health is intrinsically linked to our mental and emotional well-being.
Yeah, it's all connected.
All right, so let's dive into that summary of Reklau's 10 key points.
Sounds good.
To make sure those takeaways really stick with our listeners.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we've talked about a lot, but it's helpful to kind of condense it all.
Yeah, bring it all together.
Into those essential nuggets of wisdom.
Exactly. So where should we start?
Well, let's go back to the beginning. Reklau's first point, rewrite your story.
Oh, yeah, that's powerful.
It's about taking ownership of our narratives. Creating empowering stories for ourselves.
And recognizing we're not defined by our past.
Exactly. We have the power to shape our future.
And that leads perfectly into his second point. Take full responsibility.
Right. Moving away from blame and victimhood.
Recognizing the power we have to choose our responses.
And shape outcomes. It's about those choices, particularly the repeated ones.
Yeah, habits.
That create our habits.
Exactly. And point number 3, choose your thoughts.
Oh, yes. Our thoughts are so powerful.
They really are.
And Reklau's really emphasizing how profoundly they shape our reality.
It's about cultivating positive and empowering thought patterns.
Because those thoughts eventually become actions.
Right.
And shape our habits and ultimately our lives.
Which brings us to point number 4. New habits, new life.
This is where the transformation happens.
It's about consciously designing habits that support our goals and values.
And that brings us to the importance of self-awareness.
Self-awareness, yes.
And alignment.
Point number 5, know your top 4 values.
Oh, yeah. Making sure our actions are in harmony.
With what truly matters to us.
Living with intention and integrity.
Absolutely. And as we pursue our goals, Reklau reminds us to leverage our strengths.
Instead of fixating on weaknesses.
Right. Point number 6, know your strengths.
Focus on what we excel at.
And harness those abilities to propel us forward.
Love it. And of course, success also hinges on effective time and energy management.
Point number 7, manage your time and energy.
This is where we become strategic with our resources.
Prioritizing tasks.
Eliminating distractions.
Safeguarding our energy from drains and negativity.
So important. And he also challenges us to step outside our comfort zones.
Embrace growth.
Point number 8, Step out of your comfort zone.
It's a reminder that venturing into the unknown,
even when it feels uncomfortable,
is often where the greatest growth and fulfillment reside.
So true. And as we navigate those uncharted waters,
Yeah.
it's crucial to stay true to ourselves,
Resisting the pressure to conform.
to external expectations.
Point number 9, live your own life.
Define our own path.
Pursue what truly resonates with our hearts.
Living authentically.
Aligning our actions with our values and aspirations.
Beautifully said. And finally, Reklau's 10th point. Take action and enjoy the journey.
Ah, yes, the call to action.
It's a reminder that all the planning and dreaming
Won't matter if we don't take action.
we have to move from intention to implementation.
Embrace the ups and downs along the way.
So Reklau's 10 points
They provide a really powerful framework
for approaching habit change.
and creating a more fulfilling life.
It's a reminder that each day
Presents an opportunity.
to make choices that align with our values.
And our aspirations.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into 30 days, change your habits, change your life.
It's been quite a journey.
It has.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have explored so many facets of personal transformation
And I hope our listeners feel inspired.
to embark on their own journeys of change.
Absolutely, because the power to change our lives, it really does lie within each of us.
It does. And until next time,
Keep learning
keep growing.
and keep diving deep.